Festive Road was being repaired. At number 52, Mr. Benn looked out of his window. "What a noise," he said. "I think I'll visit the costume shop." He put on his coat and hat and was soon at his front door. From there, on his way up the noisy street. It wasn't long before he left the noise and he was outside the shop. Mr. Benn went in. Inside the shop, Mr. Benn looked at the outfits that were there. He started to chuckle. Ooh! Suddenly, as if by magic, the shopkeeper appeared. "Hello, sir," he said. "Which one amuses you?" "The Roman one," said Mr. Benn. "Romans made good roads." "Ah, the Roman Gladiator," said the shopkeeper. "Why don't you try it, sir? You know the way." Still chuckling, Mr. Benn took the outfit and went through the door to the changing room. Inside the little room, Mr. Benn put on the Roman clothes and admired himself in the mirror. Then he went through the second door. Not the door back to the shop, but the door that went... where this time, he wondered. He found himself in the countryside, among a group of people who were busily digging, carrying and constructing something. "Mr. Benn," said a voice, "what are you doing here?" Mr. Benn recognized the large man who had called him. "Smasher LeGru," he said. "Fancy meeting you. What are you building?" "A road," said Smasher. "It will go straight to the city and the arena." Just then, there was a fanfare of trumpets. "Here comes the Emperor," said Smasher. "We always put on a little show for him." He blew a whistle. All work stopped. Then one man held up his thumb and another sighted an instrument at it. Smasher winked. "Lining up the road," he said. "It's the straightest road I've ever seen," thought Mr. Benn. "It keeps the Emperor entertained and we get a break." As the Emperor left, he called to Mr. Benn. "Gladiator, bring that big fellow to the arena. He should amuse us." "What does he mean?" asked Mr. Benn. "He collects men to fight the gladiators," said Smasher. "Now he wants me." "I'd forgotten the gladiators fight," said Mr. Benn. "Fighting is silly." "And so say all of us," said Smasher. As they walked behind the Emperor, Mr. Benn got his first sight of the arena. It was the biggest building in the city. When they got there, Smasher was put with the other prisoners. Mr. Benn went into a room filled with worried-looking gladiators. "Hello," he said. "You don't look very happy. What's the problem?" "Because we're going to have to fight, of course," said a man. "If you're so worried about it, why fight?" asked Mr. Benn. "The Emperor," said the man. "We do as he says, or it's thumbs down." "Thumbs down?" Mr. Benn looked puzzled. "Look," said the man. "If the Emperor turns his thumb down, it means a squidging for someone. Thumbs up, they go free. Then there are the lions." "Lions? Squidging? How awful," said Mr. Benn. "Listen, I've an idea." After he'd explained the idea, he went to the prisoners. "You were right, Smasher," said Mr. Benn. "Nobody wants to fight, but I've got a plan." He explained his idea again and then said, "I need to hurry back to the road." Mr. Benn went back to the road and found the man with the sighting instrument. Then together they set off for the city. When they got there, Mr. Benn took the man to the arena. "You'll be up there on top of the arena wall, opposite the Emperor, and where he can see you," said Mr. Benn. "You know what you have to do. I'm off to see the Emperor." The Emperor was about to go to his seat ready for the next show when Mr. Benn arrived. "The road is being built in your honor, O mighty Emperor," said Mr. Benn. "But to lead it straight to you, we need your help." He told the Emperor what he had to do. The Emperor smiled smugly. "I've seen the road being lined up. I know what to do," he said. Next, Mr. Benn fetched Smasher and took him to the lions. "I see," he said. "Look, the Emperor is able to release the lions by pulling a lever by his seat." They go to the arena by this tunnel. "Come on, let's change the direction." Then he said, "I'm going to need your whistle as well." The changes were finished just before it was time to enter the arena. Instead of fighting, the two sides began a kind of football match. They chased each other and played all kinds of tricks to entertain the crowd. Sometimes they even kicked the ball. The crowd loved it. Only the Emperor was unhappy. He wanted a squidging. When at last a prisoner fell, the Emperor prepared for a thumbs down. Immediately, Mr. Benn blew the whistle. The Emperor stiffened. Then, seeing the man on top of the wall, he smiled. Aha! Time to line up the road, he thought. He held his thumb up. The prisoner left the arena free. After that, whenever anyone fell, Mr. Benn blew his whistle. And the Emperor held up his thumb for freedom. Finally, the Emperor became furious. "The lions!" he roared. "Let's have the lions!" That was the signal for everyone to fall to the ground. Mr. Benn whistled, and up went the Emperor's thumb. The prisoners and gladiators cheered. Thanks to Mr. Benn, they were free. With a roar, the lions arrived. But because of the changes made by Mr. Benn and Smasher, not in the arena as expected. Instead, they appeared right beside the Emperor. That was when the crowd decided to go home. When last seen, the Emperor was still running. "I like the way you made him put his thumb up," said Smasher. "He lined up the rope and I whistled," Mr. Benn winked. Smasher laughed. "It's time I got back to that road. See you, Mr. Benn." "Hope so, Smasher," said Mr. Benn. "Good luck." Just then, a familiar voice called to Mr. Benn. "This way, sir." The man pointed to a door. Mr. Benn went through the door and found himself back in the changing room. He put on his own clothes and then went back into the shop. As Mr. Benn returned the Roman clothes, the shopkeeper said, "You can keep the whistle as a souvenir, sir." Mr. Benn was delighted. At the door, he turned and waved. "Thank you again," he said. "See you soon, I hope." Festive Road was still noisy with the roadworks. When he got to his gate, Mr. Benn took out the whistle. "I wonder," he thought. He gave a sharp blast. At once, there was silence. While the workers wondered what was going on, Mr. Benn slipped into his house unnoticed. What a nice souvenir, he thought.